Hey there, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Sarah. Sarah says, I've been listening to you for a while and love your content. With daily meditation, listening to your podcast, and reading Eckhart Tolle and other books, I've really understood the practice of watching what arises. I understand there is no past, yet it seems my body has freezing and anxious moments while I'm working in stressful situations. Stress happens with loss of control, being overwhelmed, feelings of no safety, or making mistakes. It's almost like my body remembers trauma and relives it while I'm trying to stay present. I know to surrender to what is, be curious, and I know it's energy passing through, though this energy feels like a train coming and I'm going to die. I've heard of dysregulation and I've tried techniques during it, but end up crying out in exhaustion. I understand trauma can live in the body, yet can it? I think she means I understand trauma can't live in the body, yet can it? After the loss of my job during COVID, I've had 10 jobs in the last 2 years due to my meltdowns. If now is all there is and there are no triggers, how do I work with a freezing up body that feels like it's dying during stressful situations? Am I losing my mind, which is a good thing? Maybe. Any help or suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so thanks for sending this, Sarah. I want you to see if you can sort of feel, don't think about it too much, feel into the difference. And we're just looking at this for illustration's sake. There's not a difference. There's not really a line. But I want you to see if you can sort of feel the difference between what we might call feeling, sensation, like what happens to you physically, and thought. Because when you say it feels like a train coming at me and I'm going to die, totally get, like, obviously that's, it's big feeling, right? There's a lot of sensation, a lot of energy, a lot going on. But see if you can sense how I'm going to die, I can't handle this, all the thinking here around, but why is this showing up if there's no triggers and there's no past? And is this stored in my body? And all of that is the mind trying to make sense of this. And that's fine. That's going to happen for sure. That's the job of the mind. It's trying to help you. But in a sense, it's kind of like we want to put that over here. Like that's the mind. It's fundamentally a distortion. It's untrue. Like there's a lot of thinking there that is not seeing things clearly because thought doesn't see clearly. Thought is reflective and distorted and subjective, and it's trying to point to something that it kind of can't. So there's all of that thinking. I'm going to die. I can't handle this. A lot of question in this, just a sense of like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? What can I do about it? How can I make this different? So human, so understandable, but that is thought. And then there's just what's being felt. And again, there's no separation really between these. I'm just kind of walking you through this to hopefully help you maybe see something around it. But if you were just feeling and we didn't have that ability to call this, my trauma or experience it in any way or try to jump in there and figure it out, there'd be feeling, right? And it would come and it would go just like it always has. It would do its thing completely on its own. And, again, you can't make this happen. You can't just take all the thinking out, but you can kind of look in that direction and sort of see, what's actually happening is always been self-correcting. I have no control over it. There's nothing I can think about or figure out that's going to make it stop necessarily, but it is safe. I don't die. Even though my mind's telling me I'm going to die, I don't die during this. It comes and it goes and it does its thing. So it really is kind of that simple. Now, I'm not saying this does not mean that the next time this happens, you're not going to feel it. You're not going to get scared. None of that. I just want you to see that what is actually happening, or just consider that what is actually happening is okay. It's a habitual, apparently physical thing that's going on, right? And it comes and it goes on its own. it's all of the thinking about it and the fear and the trying to manipulate it that just, it still doesn't get in the way. It still comes and goes, but it makes your experience harder. It makes it feel a lot scarier and worse. So your questions about, if now is all there is and there are no triggers, how do I work with a freezing up mind that feels like it's dying? It's an excellent question. I don't think you work with it. I think it just is. And that thinking, I need to work with this. What should I be doing? That can add a lot. This has nothing to do, like what you're experiencing doesn't require a past. It doesn't have anything to, it doesn't require triggers. What you're feeling is in this moment when it's happening, like in a real time situation. It's just like, this is what's here. So see how the mind wants to put it into context. The mind wants to figure this out. Well, this is from my past. Well, that's a thought. Like what do you mean it's from the past? It's here now. This is all there is. It's showing up right this minute. How the heck would we know it's from the past? This is my trauma. Is it stored in my body? Don't know. Doesn't matter. Now your mind will want to figure that out because it thinks it's helping again, and we can get involved in that and be like, yeah, that does help. I do need to know that. Is trauma stored in the body or not? Don't know, doesn't matter. It's still just what's showing up right this minute. And I just say that, I mean, you might be curious about these things, fine, but watch that, because that's where the mind wants to just talk about concepts and theory to distract you from actually just feeling what's showing up. And that is well-meaning as well, but it isn't helpful. So nothing you're sharing has it doesn't matter if there's a past or not. There's not. I mean, try to find one, but it doesn't matter if there's a past or not. It kind of doesn't matter just in terms of what you're feeling, if this is from trauma or not, if trauma's stored in the body or not, if it's triggered or not, even if something right in front of you triggered it. The whole thing is about just feeling into what is here before all the thoughts and labels. You're doing your best to kind of get a feel for that. And then noticing again, I'm going to die. What is this from? How do I manage it? All of that is a lot of thought. So it sounds like you're doing amazing, really. And you're really looking into this and feeling into things in a big way, which is great. So I don't know, hopefully something in this just helps simplify it that much more, because it really is simple. There's nothing that your mind is going to help you with here. Our mind does not help with this stuff. It's just not necessary. It can be helpful to learn some stuff at a point, but then also, the mind can just grab that and try to distract from what's actually showing up. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you for sending it. I hope you'll join the workshop I'm doing around this in January, the Welcoming What Arises workshop. We're going to look at this exactly, and really with regard to a lot of these questions about the past and triggers and all of that. So hopefully you'll join us there, and thanks for sending your question. Again, I'll be back in a couple weeks' time after the holidays with a new Ask Amy, so I hope everyone has a nice holiday season, a Happy New Year, and I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.